Alright, thank you guys for the 76 subs as of recording this video. That's what it's at. That being said, let's get into this one. This will be part 21 of What If Deku Had a Hybrid Quirk. where we left off with our intrepid hero, he went to meet up with Aizawa because he hasn't had a time to actually go. They haven't had a time to actually go over what he had missed and make sure Principal Nezu wanted to have a meeting with him about a few things, considering what had happened about a month previously with him. So that being said, he met up with Aizawa and they start heading into this meeting. And Izuku, principal, once they get to the meeting room, Vlad, the class 2B teacher, is there. Obviously, Aizawa's going to be there. Principal Nezu's there. And also, a lawyer's there as well. And it's a lawyer that Mizuku kind of recognized. It's one of it's one of the lawyers that he had to deal with to get the special licensing and stuff for the business that he was trying to open up in the meantime while he was in high school. So that being said, Nezu goes over with the company that he owned, that he had started off, and asks about the building and everything that they have, and he's like, we heard from a local business owner that you are basically making special quirk rooms in this building, and they go over with him that you're not allowed to use your quirks unsupervised. And this is when Izuku's like, yeah, I get that, Principal Nezu and everyone that's here, and even when me and a few of the other students and my brother were there, they asked about it, and I told them we can't really do anything with these rooms until we get staff for the building. And this is kind of surprising everyone there, because up until this point they haven't really understood, because Izuku, he's slightly smarter than he was in canon in this What If, but he's not as smart as someone like Melissa Shield or Mei Hatsume. He's probably on the same level as Momo, if not slightly lower than her. So he has some business sense because of having to deal with the inheritance and everything. And Mitsuki has over the years kind of been telling him he's got to think about what he's going to do with his inheritance, because the past couple of years before his 16th birthday, she really beat it into him because he was about to become rich, and she didn't want him to blow everything on stupid stuff. So Mitsuki really worked it into him to think about the future and everything, and he asked his stepmom / his aunt to kind of help him out, get this business started. And he asked Melissa to kind of come up with floor plans for this building that he wanted to put there at the beach where his mom's statue was. And he one day he was also looking around on the internet, and he found out about this beach called Deku Beach that was kind of littered like himself, and he was thinking of, and he went to the city to kind of like get some permits and stuff so that he can go clean it up and basically like revamp like the thing. And he was trying to see if everything, and this is like why like the lawyer's there. So Aizawa and Vlad are sitting there, and they ask Nezu, like, so are you gonna ask him about that? And Deku's like, it's like, what do you mean? And Nezu's like, well, we heard about like these quirk rooms and the type of technology they're in it, and we were wondering if we could somehow adapt that technology to some of UA's facilities. And Deku is like he explains that the tech they used, it's not really possible to like hand it over without like a contract, possibly, like, and he doesn't even know if he can legally like say yes or not because the technology that's in the rooms are kind of proprietary. And he basically goes over like it's not only me that would have to make this decision, but it would have to be primarily Melissa Shields' decision because it is her tech that's in these rooms, and she's been like the main developer of it, so it would, that's something that they would have to go over in a meeting with her and like figure out like what the legal ramifications of this would be, and basically come up with a contract with UA. And this is when Aizawa and Vlad kind of pipe up and they ask, well, if that's not possible, what about like me? Is there any way that we can get permission to like use these facilities for like 1 or 2 classes throughout the week, or and everything? And he's like, well, that honestly shouldn't be an issue. And then he he's like thinking about this, and then he asks, he's like, Principal Nezu, like, remember how we were like discussing possibly, like, as like me and Katsuki were like possibly discussing like starting a quirk development club. Nezu's like, oh yes, you two did mention that. And then he, like, Nezu kind of looks at him, so I see you plan on doing that then. And Izuku's like, yep. And Nezu's like, well, you would have to find 2 teachers to be the teacher, the 2 club teacher representatives. And Izuku's like, okay, and so because I think I have a few members that already want to like start this. And he's like, well, you would have to get their signatures and turn in the proper paperwork and everything, but I don't think it should be that big of a problem. But you saying that, I could possibly help with that. You guys need supervisors. And he kind of turns to Aizawa and Vlad, and he's like, why don't you 2 become the representatives of this club? That way, you can kind of watch them and help them out a little bit, like get a little bit extra time on Saturdays. And Aizawa and Vlad we're about to like say that they could be the representatives because the facilities at UA aren't like that advanced as like these rooms, because like they're specifically designed for certain types of quirks to like really go at it. And this building that they built on this beach is kind of massive. It takes up half the beach. Half the property is covered in this thing. And Izuku's company kind of had to like procreate, not procreate, God, basically gain ownership of like another lot to build a parking lot. Because one of the things is Izuku wanted the beach where like his mom, like part of the beach where his mom's statue is, to like be untouched. Basically keep him a memorial monument next to like a new building and starting a company, and basically incorporating like that section of the beach into the design of the building where like it opens up to the beach. It has like a street entrance, and then it has an overpass from the over the street of the new to like building and everything. And Izuku, like, they're going over like the details, and Nezu and everything. He kind of asked Nezu like after everything was wrapped up. It's like, I will get in touch with Melissa and kind of have to get Mitsuki and Kachan involved as well, because, well, and Mitsuki doesn't has been involved with this because she doesn't want us to she wants to make sure that I'm not spending my money on useless things according to what she says. And Katsuki is technically going to be like a co-owner of the agency that we've both been wanting from a young age, wanted to like become heroes together. And we, a few like years ago, before the end of it, like me, him, and Melissa were kind of talking at the academy and everything about maybe opening up our own hero agency afterwards, after like we all graduated and everything. And Nezu was like, interesting, so that's exactly why you, and Izuku was like, yeah. And then when with the training that we received and everything, we were like, why don't we just kind of like set up a program with the agency that we want to do this. And then we got the idea from the quirk, for like the quirk usage rooms, from like the gym went to, and we kind of like called up Melissa because she had like started designs on a building for us. And we were like, can you incorporate something like this into like the building plans? And I'm surprised that the contractor that we got to like do it, well, the company bargained with the contractor to do, was able to finish that. And Nezu was like, oh, that, after what happened with the incident, we actually got a bunch of offers from like construction companies wanting to get in on that, and they were going to do it. And we kind of helped out a little bit with like the Hero Cementos, and he's like kind of helped out with that getting the building like up with the foundation and everything, and building the parking lot and stuff like that. He's like, oh, so he's like, no wonder they finished like a year ahead of schedule. And and like he says, well, Principal Nezu, like, I don't know, like I would need some time on the whole class thing and like the tech, especially like the tech, because I have to talk with the company's lawyers. Basically, Izuku and Katsuki are back burners on this, and the company that he started with, like, he kind of like bankrolled the starting of this company. And so Mitsuki is kind of like in charge of this until Izuku, like, Mitsuki is going to be like is going to be his representative on like the board. um, because he's still in high school. Like, he is smart, but he's not like Tony Stark levels of like intelligence. So he's gone over everything, and he has had to like sign a few paperwork and stuff like that every couple weeks. He has to go with Mitsuki to like the office to like fill out paperwork because he is 16 now. Ever since like he turned 16, he's kind of been basically setting up for his time after graduation with like a few companies that he started up, and it's made him a little bit of money. And when when his like one of his like when his friends find out like how much money he actually has, they're going to be thoroughly surprised because Katsuki and Izuku kind of live in a normal family home with Mutsuki, Katsuri, and Mazura. Like, they live in a normal family home. Like, and Katsuki and Izuku don't really, like, flaunt wealth. Because Mitsuki has money, has a decent amount of money in her own right because of her time as a business lawyer and finance officer of like a few affluent families. So that being said, we're going to get in. I went over that. Okay, so like after the meeting and everything, Izuku like Aizawa tells him, it's like, well, young Midoriya, we have some things that we need to discuss after this and get back to the dorms. We have an earlier class than normal, like, set up tomorrow because we're going to miss a day. We're going to miss like a day next week. And we kind of need to like make up some, like, we need to do some classwork and stuff and go over a few extra things before we go to the licensing, provisional licensing exam. And he's like, wait, we're going to be doing that, but we're first years. And Aizawa's like, well, considering what was happened and all those that want to go can go, we are currently working on the legal stuff of this, and it turns out that as long as like your parents are okay with it, because kids can get hurt in these things just from the natures of it, but like please keep it like between you and Katsuki, because you two pretty much already knew that you were going to be taking this at some point once you got to UA. So Izuku's like, well, I won't talk with Katsuki because he'll kind of like blabber it out on accident if I mention it to him. Pardon me. So with that being said, the meeting comes to an end, and he kind of asks, because Izuku has about like an hour before the curfew for the dorms happens. And he calls up Iida, and he's like, Iida, can you meet me at the track? There's some things I want to talk to you about. And Iida's like, you know, it's almost an hour. And he's like, yeah, it won't take that long, but it involves your brother. And Iida's like, my brother, what? It was like, yeah, like, just come to the track, man. And so Izuku's like sitting there on the track and everything, and he's kind of like doing some stretches and stuff like that because he wants to get a light jog in. And Iida comes running up, and he's like, so Midoriya, what did you want to speak about, like, involving my brother? And he's like, well, you asked me last week, I mean, like, a month and a half ago, before the whole thing with the forest training camp that we went to, about like healing your brother, and I was still recovering, and then this happened, and Izuku's like, well, I won't be able to completely heal him now because it's an old injury, but I can at least get him to the point where he can go through physical therapy rehab. And as far as him being able to be a hero, that would be completely on him and like his drive to like get better. And Iida's like breaking down at this because a conversation that he had with his brother, like his brother had basically given, was like he didn't see any other way for him to be a hero, and he asked Iida to take on the hero name Ingenium. And he's like, are you sure about this, Izuku? I don't want you to like hurt yourself like you did last time that you did something like this. And Izuku explains to him that while he was in the coma, that weird lady like kind of talked to him that was on the news, and he doesn't really know who she really is. Sort of lying to Iida, not telling him like the whole truth that he does indeed know who this person is. But Izuku's not ready to say to like tell Iida his secret. He was kind of forced. He was a little bit forced to with Uraka, Momo, and Kendo because they were kind of starting to see some weird stuff, and like what they had known wasn't really adding up. So he explained that to them, and in this, he's like, well, we have like tomorrow afternoon, we can make a trip to where your brother is hospitalized, because I'm assuming he's still there, because they aren't sure. And then Iida pipes up, it's like, yeah, he's actually going to get discharged like next week, but he still can't walk. And he's like, well, I can at least get his body to a point where he can walk, but it would be on him to do the physical therapy to recuperate from it. And so, like, Iida and everything like just kind of starts like growing a little bit, and Izuku, like, they're on their way back to the dorm because they do need to be back in before a certain time or they get in trouble, written up and everything. So on the way back to the dorm, Iida's like, are you really sure about this? And Izuku's like, yeah, man, I'm totally sure. Like, you're a friend and you asked me for help, and like, this is the best I can do. And Iida kind of like hugs Izuku and is like, that's I feel bad asking you about that. I didn't really want to like say that and like ask you that and be someone that can do that. So Izuku they had plans to go that afternoon, and the reason why, outside of the story, the reason why I'm going over this now is because I'm not sure if I explicitly said it or not, and I meant to before that, but we're going to do this now. If I did say it, I'm kind of retconning it and saying it that he's doing this now. So they, like, that morning during breakfast, they're making plans to like go see his brother Tensei after school today, and they were getting Izuku's like, well, we'll probably have to get like special permission to like be off campus tonight because I don't know if we can make it back before curfew. And so during lunch, like, they go get the appropriate paperwork filled out, and like Nezu they take it to Principal Nezu to like get it approved. And Izuku like asks Nezu, he's like, well, we'll be staying here and everything. Like, is it possible? Like, we're going, like, Iida wants to go see his brother and everything. And Nezu's like, what do you have planned, Izuku? Like, young Midoriya. And Izuku's like, well, I heard like how bad his brother's hurt, and I think I can at least help him out to where he can do physical therapy to like walk again. And Nezu's like, well, are you sure you're up for this? Because you did just do that, and I don't want you going, like, getting hurt again. Like, we already have a bad image with UA. Like, UA's image is not so great right now, because of a few things, but because of your actions, it has given us a bigger eye of scrutiny. And Izuku's like, well, we'll be fine and everything. And Tensei's parents are going to be there. And also, like, Tensei's brother will be there, and there'll be other adults. And my mom will be there because I talked to her this morning about kind of chaperoning me and Tensei, and that's who's going to be on here for responsibility. And Nezu's like, okay, well, it seems like you really have thought this out a little bit. And Nezuko's like, yeah, well, and plus we'll be staying at this hotel, which has good security and everything. And it's something Mom kind of insisted on because of recent news and stuff. And Nezu's like, yeah, your mom's kind of, can be, abrasive if she wants to. But it's fine. I guess that's fine if she's going to be with you and everything. And Izuku's like, thank you, Principal Nezu. And Iida's like, thank you. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, when Izuku tells him that afternoon about it, and so him and Iida are going off, or like walking off, and he's stopped by Katsuki, and he's like, you're gonna do it, aren't you? And Izuku's like, yeah, but I'm not gonna overexert myself, because when I ask Mom about it, she's gonna be with us and everything. And Katsuki's like, well, say hello to Katsuri for me, because I'm pretty sure she's gonna go with you guys. And Izuku's like, yeah, that's kind of like another reason why I said yes to let Mom come and everything, because I don't know if you've noticed it, but her sister's been, like, ever since I woke up, she's been kind of clingy, and like it seems like she's kind of worried about me, and I kind of like want her to be there to show like what my quirk can do a little bit, to like kind of help her out, and so she's not worried about me, you know. Like, and Katsuki is like, well, I get that, bro. I'll let Momo and Kendo know what's going on so that you can have time with the family and everything. And so Katsuki goes off and he explains that to them and everything. And like Izuku gets like a message, gets one message, then another, and then like he's looking at his phone because Iida and everything are heading over to his house, and then because like Mitsuki is gonna like drive them over to the hospital and to the motel that they would be staying at the night. And Zuko's like looks at his phone and he's like, oh crap. And Iida's like, what is it? And he's like, I forgot to say goodbye to them, and I'm a little in trouble now. And he's like, who? And he's like, my girlfriends. Oh boy. And then he was like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, you're dating Momo and Kendo. How did that really exactly happen? And then, like, so during this walk, like, he's explaining to Iida that they, like, their life story and everything, and Izuku says that that's basically how it happened. And he was like, oh, that's weird, but you can do you. Like, it's not something that I've personally, like, really thought about as far as someone that I could potentially date, like, in school and everything. I've just been focused on, and Izuku's like, yeah, I get that, because, like, you come from a family of heroes. People expect you to be, like, a great hero too. It's like, look at me, when, like, I like, look who my mom is. Like, you know how important that is. And then especially after, like, what All Might said, now people, like, are really looking at me. And he was like, yeah, like, I don't know how you could deal with that. And Izuku's, like, kind of laughs, and then Iida's like, so, like, are you really okay with everything that's happened? And Izuku's like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, something changed while I was in that coma. Like, my entire outlook on life has, like, changed drastically since then. The things of my past haven't really, like, yeah, they suck, and I do miss my mother, but I've got to stop letting the past affect my future. And that's just something that came to me, like, when that happened. And with that, we're coming up on 32 minutes. I'm going to leave what happens from that for the next episode. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys at a later date in another video. Bye bye.